Hello, ladies. Love Mastery Life. Today, I want to talk to you about communication, about the trap of communication. And I want to tell you that it is true. It's not only your responsibility to communicate, but you have to be aware of something. And I put that in the comments of this video. It says, yes, it's true. It's not only your responsibility to communicate, but look at this. Most men are not equipped to handle communication the same way. And that's why I wanted to share with you my screen. I wanted to present you this because this is part of one of the workshops that I had done a couple of times. And look at this, because I hear that. Okay, before I go to the trap of communication, because this is all about this video, I want to tell you why I came to this. I was reading the comments of a lady in a forum. She was she's divorced not long ago, and she mentioned that she just found out that apparently she wasn't communicating her feelings, and she wasn't communicating exactly the way that she's supposed to communicate. So she kind of became aware of the time, not the mistakes, but we can say the things that she could have done better in her couple. And apparently this came as a feedback from her ex. And the ex told her, well, it happens that my new girlfriend, she's doing it right. She's really encouraged me to communicate. She's doing it the right way. She's talking to me. She's making me feel important. She's making me feel needed. So the other women apparently is communicating better. And when I started to check the comments of this post, I saw one lady saying, well, actually, it was his responsibility to communicate his needs. It's not, you're not a wizard, right? You are not someone who are a mind reader. And that is true. But this is something that many women get caught, because of course we want a 50-50 relationship, absolutely, but we should not forget that we are not equal. We are not the same biologically. And this is where I'm really insisting a lot to try to bring this awareness, because if we are not aware of this, we think that, okay, if I am able to communicate, why he's not able to communicate, right? And this is going to be always a problem. You have to be aware of this. Look my screen. I'm going to try to go to my next slide when it's going to allow me, right? Okay, here on. Yeah, you can see this is a big presentation, so I'm just going to present you the next screen. Okay, here it is. So it says here, look, the lady here in this cartoon, we see that she's reading, and she says, it says here that women use over 70% more words than men. And the guy is sitting there, and his response is, really? You know, I remember the first time I showed this presentation in a live workshop, and it was amazing how the women were laughing, because we know this is true. We know this is the way men communicate. And this is just, of course, just a cartoon, but this is true, and this is backed with science. It's not that men don't want to communicate. They are just not hardwired the same way we are. Now look at the next slide, please. This is also very, very interesting, very telling. He says, and he's caring and honest and gentle. And this is the two ladies. And then you see in the bottom, you see the two guys talking, and he just said to the friend, I do her, you know, and the other one, like, you know, it's that. Of course, this is a cartoon. This is, maybe we're going to the extreme, but this is the way men communicate. Most men. Of course, you have always exceptions, but this is usually the way they communicate. I mean, not that they do, I do her, but they are not able to compare to the way that we communicate. The way we are able to check and to retain details and memories, it's never the same. They are simply not hardwired the same way. And this really plays to, now going back to the communication, which is important, but it can be a trap. And if you let yourself really caught into that trap about, yeah, well, I'm going to communicate, but it's his responsibility to communicate, well, you're going to be doomed. You have to understand to read between the lines, and you have to understand that you are not going to get the same response as you would get from another woman, okay? I just wanted to make this clear that we are not hardwired the same for communication. So what is more important about communication? I'm going to show you. Excuse me. So communication is not key, my dears. Empathy is key. And when you have empathy in a couple, well, then you're not going to be doomed in any trap, okay? So it's more important that you concentrate yourself in having empathy, and that the other person has empathy. And when you guys, if you are in a couple, in a relationship, well, you guys come around with empathy, and that's going to make, it's like an oil to communication, right? You're going to allow that the other person opens himself to yourself. If you don't come with judgment, if you allow that he express anything, and that is what is the hard part, because sometimes we want to control too much. We don't want to accept many things that they say to us. We want to change the narrative, and that is not empathy. Empathy is about really putting yourself in the shoes of the other person. Okay, now just to finish this little tiny video, I want to show you something that is even more important to me than, of course, empathy is one of the biggest, but okay, yeah, sorry. This, like I mentioned, this is part of a big presentation, a big workshop that I usually do with the women in live workshops. But you need to have those are universal components of, at least for relationship, that's the way I call them. So in a relationship, you really need to feel valued, cared, understood, and protect, of course, emotionally and physically. This is the most important, but you also have to be able to give this to the person, right? To make him feel valued, to make him feel cared, to make him feel understood and protect emotionally and physically. And I know this seems to be my presentation super simple, right? There are a lot of many things that are important. And I just want to bring this to your attention, because the way some women are communicating out there, and that they are reacting to some comments, I think is just bringing more confusion. So that's why I wanted to make this presentation, to really say that it is, yes, it's both persons' responsibility about communicating, but it is important to understand that if you expect that the other person, that a man communicates the same way that you're going to communicate, and that it's his responsibility to communicate the same way, you are falling for a trap. Okay, so just be aware of that. And I hope this little video really brings to you a little awareness about that. So I hope this information serves you, and see you next week in another live video. See you next time. Bye-bye.